This is a Shields of Shame exclusive.
What do we got here? Welcome everyone to a very simple video where we're going to do a simple request and you can follow through and see kind of how I do this and maybe it'll help you. So let's check it out. What are we looking for? We're looking for Amanda Donald, who's related to the Richard Russell videos that I just released with the GSP. All the things she says, she knew he was drinking and driving and carrying on and all that stuff. So let's go and find, I believe it may be several hard drives here I gotta choose from. Look for Richmond County, here we go. And I already have some things on her. She flagged a while back for whatever reason, but this is her. So let's just go ahead and clean this up. And that's her husband. This is her. All right. And that's her husband. So we have quite a few things on her already. Let's look at her post certification and see what that's all about. Haven't really dug into a lot of this. I got this probably a year or so ago, probably longer than that. But she's been with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office since 2019. And of course, she's still there. It's the only agency she's worked for. So I'll move that off to the side. We'll do a little something with that a little bit. Show people in the comments what she's got going on. And we got her IA file, so let's look at that real quick. So destroying his own property, throwing things at passing vehicles onto his neighbor's property. The demented and intoxicated subject was eventually taken into custody after a struggle and handcuffed by Deputy Donald and other deputies. When he refused to get up from the ground, Deputy Donald stated, "Get the F up," twice, then struck the subject on the side of his face with her fist. Yeah, we got to get that body cam, so let's go ahead and this is how I get some of the body cam, is I look for stuff like this. So let's just go ahead and start a new file, to where I can, track all the things that I research, the things that I find, dates and times and all that good stuff. So we're gonna look. First we're gonna get, so let me just tell you a few things we're gonna get. First page of all use of force incidents. Body cam. So this will be a separate thing. We already have her image. We already have her disciplinary file. We have a personnel file here. I'll post all this in a little bit so you can read it all in depth. But right now we're just kind of looking what we want to get, right? So let's just go ahead and go back to this. All right, so that's one of the body cams we want. You also want to look for things like if they had their body cam turned on. So we have another one here. So she likes to be late for work. This is a typical write-up for a cop. This is most of the write-ups I see. Dirty cars, late for work, not going to court, not activating the body cam per policy, which they have to activate that body cam anytime they have an interaction with the public. A lot of them don't. They get wrote up for it. There's no telling how many write-ups I've caused, what kind of grief I've caused police over this, requesting body cam all the time. And a lot of times it's not there, so I don't get the privilege of knowing what happens past that. So let's look at her arrest report. And this is how the Richmond County Sheriff's Office does not have AXON body cams. They use, I think it's called a MOBU or something like that, M-O-B-U or M-U-B-U or something like that. But anyway, so this is as close as we're getting to an audit trail of the officer. So you can ask for either one, right? If they have AXON, I prefer the audit trail. But if they have the arrest by officer, I also really like that because it gives the charges and gives all the information you need. So we're gonna go through here and let me see, this goes back to 2020. And this is outdated, so I need to go back and get a new one because this is about a year old, June of 2023. So we gotta get an updated version. But we wanna go through here and look for that 7921 real quick. And it's not listed on here. That's weird. That's weird. So it could be that the arrest happened by another officer. We'd have to get the CAD report for this incident to reveal all of the officers' names that were involved in this 7921 incident. So there's a little homework to be done on that. We're gonna put that down towards the bottom for right now, and we'll come back to it later. Right now, we're gonna look for disorderly and obstruction charges. The reason why I look for those two charges is because that is where you'll find the majority of the civil rights violations. Police officers love to charge people with obstruction when they're not really obstructing. Obstruction is a physical thing, but a lot of cops will turn it into a First Amendment thing where if you speak the wrong way or if you speak freely and exercise your First Amendment right, they'll retaliate by arresting you with obstruction of a law enforcement officer. It's very common. So that and disorderly conduct, if you raise your voice at them, they don't like that. They do not like you talking to them. They don't like you talking down to them. They don't like you talking to them and expressing your, exercising your First Amendment right. They don't like any of that. So they'll charge you with disorderly conduct and obstruction. So we look for those. And that's where you'll find a lot, a whole lot. So we'll go up through here. This one seems pretty interesting. I'm not gonna go for that one right now though. Those will be, these other cases will be for later requests. Right now I'm just looking for, yeah, it seems like she does a lot of indecency charges. What that's about? Obstruction of a law enforcement officer. Here we go. So we want the case number. And I'm gonna highlight that just so I know that I've already requested it. Get the time. And we'll move on to the next one. Highlight that. Here's another one, obstruction. Now, one thing about body cam, I don't know how much body cam I'm requesting right now. That's one of the main issues, is that it could be hours worth, it could be 10 minutes worth. You just don't know. You just don't know until they tell you. If I had the evidence, the AXON.com, AXON body cam audit trail, I would know exactly how much body cam there is for each incident, which is very helpful, by the way. So let's just go ahead and highlight that. Let's keep on moving up. I'm gonna pick 5 incidents off the bat and see how they respond. I'm looking for them to give an exemption that it's tied up in, it's an investigation, it's tied up in court and blah, blah, blah. Bunch of lies. That's what they do. There's really not a whole lot you can do about it but file complaints with the Attorney General and try to get them to prove. In a lot of these cases, you can go into the Augusta court docket. Really, any county that you're dealing with, you can go in the court docket. Maybe they have something online. You can cross-reference some of the cases. It's a little difficult when I don't have the party name though. That's where it's going to be so it's a lot there. I have to get the CAD report for each one of these. Okay, through E911 services. And then I'll have to cross-reference the name of the subject that was arrested from the CAD report and cross-reference that with the court docket and see if there are actual charges, if it's been disposed of, and so on and so on. When I first started doing requests for Richmond County, they were giving me proof that the cases were exempt. They no longer do that since the first guy I was dealing with is gone. Well, he's not gone, he got promoted. And the other ones are just corrupt as hell. Very corrupt. Anyway, I'm talking too much. I should be working. Just have a lot of arrests. I didn't even look at that. Up until that point, she only had 60. Wow, that's not much. So we're really gonna hunker down on the one she has. That's it, man. One last page. Probable violation, probation violation, operating unregistered vehicle. Just a lot of shoplifting and warrants. So that's it, man. No disorderly conducts. That's strange. All right, so what we'll do is we'll just pick a couple, just random ones. We'll go ahead and do this one. You know, get this up in the mix since there ain't that much. I don't know if I'm gonna get any updated list on this. We'll see where it goes. Let's just see what kind of cop she is, because right now we know she's a lying cop because she admitted in the video that Richard Russell drinks and drives constantly. Those were her words, not mine.
I told my husband, I said, he is constantly drinking and driving. My husband is not like that. No, my husband has had a falling out with Russell because he's got so far off the deep end. My husband said he doesn't want.
And she apparently didn't report this because Richard Russell does not have anything. Let me just show you what I'm talking about real quick. A quick way to cross-reference a lot of things is let's go to the Augusta court docket. Like I said, this could be different for your city, for your county. You just have to kind of noodle around a little bit, figure it out. So we'll just go up here to Russell. And I've already done this, so I know what's here. So we've got two things here on Russell. We've got a following too closely from 2023, and we've got a speeding from 2009. Now, this is just Richmond County, Augusta, Georgia. Columbia County has more. He had a stalking charge from 2012. The Georgia Post Council sent me those documents along with all the other documents with on Russell. So that's that. So let's just go ahead and pick us two more incidents. And we'll do the date. Let's go ahead and pick we'll get two more. Man, it's just not enough here. But I also want to get, let's see. While I'm thinking about it. So we want to make sure we get those because we don't have that yet. All right. Let's do the public indecency. That seems interesting. I mean, really, pretty much all I really need is the case number or the date. So we'll go with that. That's let's get one more. Get one more. We don't know what these all are, so let's just pick one of them at random. Because there's, I wonder why that's not working. These are pretty recent too. All right, so that's what we have. Okay, so that is that part of the request. What else do we need to get? So I got a little cheat sheet up here that I look at sometimes just to make sure that I have enough the Garrity and the Miranda will reveal any interviews. Not looking for radio comm 911 calls right now. I'll do those later. Like I said, we'll get those for some of these cases we don't know much about. Got that already. I don't have AXON. First page. One thing we can do is we can do a cross-reference to 911 services for her radio, 911 calls and radio comm activity. We already got the employee listing of the Richmond County Sheriff's Office. That's online. You guys go check that out. All right, so that's it, man. That's what we're going with here. This is gonna be our request. We'll look at her husband after this. My mind kind of works in a straight line sometimes, where I have to just deal with one cop, then move to the other one. So this will be our request right here. All right. So now all we got to do is, if you're doing a request for the first time, you just got to go to the county's website and oops, I didn't mean to do that. Didn't mean to do any of that. Dang it. All right. Let's just make a new one. And if I just start typing down, there we go. Because I do so many, it's just here's how many open records I do right here, by the way. These are most of the counties and cities that I've done. There are a lot more that are not even here. So let's see. Open records request 8, 27, 24. McDonald, first page of all use. First page of all use of force incidents. And Garrity, Miranda, the body cam. And you have to sign using your name, your real name, because I mean you can do it anonymously, but you won't be able to file complaints with the Attorney General. You have to identify yourself. And if you file complaints with the Attorney General, you really have to identify yourself with your address, your phone number, and things of that nature. So we'll send. And that's it, man. That's how simple it really is. There's nothing complicated about what I do. There's nothing secretive about it. It's all just this simple. You just have to work at it and figure ways around them, right? So when they start using prior restraint on this request, then I'll go through other ways to get body cam and get the records that I'm looking for. And we'll file complaints. We'll do whatever we have to do. But I just wanted to make this video and show you guys how simple this really is. There's nothing complicated about it. You don't have to fill out forms. You don't need permission. You don't have to make an appointment. all you have to do is exactly what I just did. Send a simple communication, whether it be a letter or email or phone call. Now, this is all related to Georgia, so they have 72 hours to respond. If you do call them to make a request, just understand the Attorney General won't mediate any complaint that you may have in the future, because it has to be written. Don't ask me why, it just has to be written. I record my interactions when I do this over the phone, but in every instance I also send an email for the records. If the agency uses email as part of their normal business, they have to accept the request by email. It is also law in Georgia that they have to have the open records custodian displayed on their webpage if they have one assigned. Now, some agencies may not have an open records custodian assigned. It may just be someone from internal affairs that typically handles it, or maybe a variety of people that pitch in to handle it. I guess it depends on how large the agency is. Now, I hope that helped you. I hope it explained a little bit, because one of the most common questions I get, typically through private messages, folks asking, how to get records. A lot of the communication that I get, people are dealing with prior restraint, obstruction from the law enforcement agency. That's what they call people when they back talk and when they show resistance, and that's what I call it when they do it: obstruction of the public, disorderly conduct towards the public. That is it, man. That is the open records request process. It's just a simple view. Understand, I had to request this list and all of the other documents. I guess while I'm running my mouth, I could just be showing you one of these documents. And this is her personnel file. We'll open up full screen here. Some of the pages are sideways. Here we go. Basically everything that they have on her from when she was hired. Just a lot of random information here. If I was really looking into her, I would be analyzing every single word in this entire document, looking for any clues, any lies, anywhere she may have put something on here that's not correct or accurate and is a blatant lie. And I usually do find it. But it requires a lot of research. You have to look into it. Okay, here's her tax forms. The girl can do 31 sit-ups. I doubt she can do that now. A little information about her. Her job history. So she worked at Andy Prane Services, whatever that is. Security supervisor. Okay, I might have to go and check on that one. Wasn't that long ago. United States Marine Corps. All right, military. Thank you for your service, even though you're a dirty cop. And some redacted junk. Typical. You would also sometimes find the Garrity warning in these documents. But I haven't seen one. It also could be a part of their IA file. I haven't seen any documents that look like a Miranda or Garrity. It's all new hire stuff. So that's that, man. And now, one thing I will say is, if you go requesting these type of documents, personnel files, the certs are free. The arrest record is free. I never paid for that. The disciplinary file and the personnel file are not free. Her image is free. All of this stuff down here, you shouldn't get charged for. These are the most expensive documents to request, and it's why I don't request them that often anymore, because this particular request, I want to say it was $60 or $70, somewhere around there, when I could have just gotten body cam for a lot cheaper. But this was at a time when I was really getting my feet wet in all of this, and I was just doing like blanket requests, man, getting all of the files on all the cops that I possibly could, and you can see that here, which Richmond County, I have more files on Richmond County police officers than I do any other agency. And it's an agency that's corrupt and gave me a good ground to stand on, some fundamental basics to operate off of when you're dealing with corrupt police agencies. If you find a corrupt police agency, they are the best ones to do something like this on, because you'll find all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, all of these guys, I have records on all of them. And I can go through at any given time and just start. Let me see which one I just recently got. I'll show you guys real quick. Richard Parker. This is a guy that Quincy Cannon mentioned in his lawsuit that Richmond County Sheriff's Office was showing favoritism and not investigating these officers like they investigated him. So I decided to pull Parker's files. I think all of this costs like $40, $42 or something like that. We got a wreck right here. We got, and here's one right here, like I was telling you earlier, body worn camera, right? They'll get written up. If someone goes to request this, so this would be some body cam that we're not going to be, wait a minute, what date was this? 2016? So Richmond County Sheriff's Office had body cams back in 2016. I did not know that. I thought it was 2018. And this is all way past the Georgia records retention laws. I don't think I have his certification yet. This is something I'm going to work on in the future. This is a long distant case. I just got all these files a couple weeks ago, and they're just kind of sitting here. But this is it's got 3 use of force. Kind of show you what that looks like. It gives us all of the information we need, the incident date, should have the individual's name on here too, yep, Brandon Chapman, and all of the information that you would need to request a body cam from this, you can get. And he's got 3 of those. I'm not sure if he still works there or not. You can look him up online. There's quite a few stories on him that news agencies have covered. I don't want to cover what the news agencies covered. I want to do something completely different. Make sure we save this and do something completely different and tell you a story about how things really are, rather than some fluffed up, swayed police narrative, which is what the police show you, and they move on. Who this guy is. This guy recently got arrested. I forget what it was, but it's a story we're gonna be looking at later on down the road. But as we go on, we got another one here. And this is Todd Beasley. We're gonna get into this guy. At some point in time, we'll get into him and expose him for the corrupt cop that he is. And we keep on going. There's a lot of cases here, just in this one folder, that I haven't done, that I've got to get records on, that I've got to put a story together. And all of these folders are like that. They're not as big, but they have cases that you haven't. Here's one right here. I don't think that I published anything on this. What is this guy? What does he do? Let me see. Nothing. It's not going to play. Oh, you know what? Because I'm doing a screen recording. That's why. But we got 23-minute interview, got some footage of some sort. Just got to go back through and have time to work on it, man. But I just wanted to make this video, guys, and show you like the simplest way to get body cam and documents if you need them from police officers. I get them through the mail mostly. It's just easier for me to do it that way because I do so many now. I didn't back then. So now I do everything through the mail. I just send the money order, take pictures and videos of it all, document it in case they try to play some funny stuff. And that's it, man. But anyway, I hope you got some value out of this, and I hope this helps you get your feet wet, go out and do some open records, even if you just request a simple picture. Some of the things that won't cost you that you can do right now today is get the picture of the officer, service photo, image on file, whatever you want to call it, whatever they want to call it, really, because it's one of the most common things I deal with. It's like, what do you mean image on file? I mean, so that their arrest record is usually doesn't cost anything. Anything that can be done under 15 minutes is free. However, we don't know what kind of system they're using or how long things really take. So there's a variable there that we're not aware of. Images, Garrity forms, which the Garrity form is the gateway. The Garrity and Miranda warnings, if they have them on file, are the gateways to getting interviews like you see on my channel, getting all of the body cam, the information that I get. It will all start with that Garrity warning. The Garrity warning never needs to be redacted. There's nothing on it that's personal. It's just a single piece of paper explaining the officer's rights, and they sign it. And once you get it, it'll have the date on it, and you can look at that date and use it to request all of the interviews and all of the records associated with that case. All right, y'all. Peace and love.